Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor and the author of the New York Times bestseller, Trump's America.
Good morning.
Good to be with you.
What do you think? Will he be confirmed?
I think he will be. In fact, I think more than one Democrat will end up voting yes. You have...
They're in a tough spot.
They are. When Heidekamp comes from North Dakota, which voted Republican in 16 out of the last 17 presidential races for the more conservative judges. Donnelly comes from Indiana, that voted 15 out of 17 times. You get Tester comes from Montana, which voted 15 out of 17 times. So you just go back and say, every time your voters have had a choice between a liberal judge and a conservative judge, they voted for the president who appoints conservatives. Now, is there enough evidence here to justify not voting for Kavanaugh? And I think yesterday, I believe that first of all, I believe Dr. Ford has been victimized by the Democrats.
Because the name leaked out?
Well, because they deliberately set this whole thing up. It didn't leak out. This whole thing was a setup. It was a deliberate staff-driven effort to have something explode at the last minute. If Senator Feinstein had walked in with the letter the day she got it, it would have been part of the normal process. Yep. They would have been in part of the normal interviews. You wouldn't have had this psychodrama of the last 2 weeks. And the fact is, when you get under the emotional moment, and I think she was very effective emotionally, when you get under, you start looking at the facts.
Right.
Who corroborates it? No one. When did it actually occur? Not sure. Where did it actually occur? Not sure.
And here's a woman with a PhD, extremely bright, who has no idea, asking her beach friends what to do about it in June or July. And then if Senator Feinstein was in a one-on-one session, seems like a nice woman. You know her personally. I don't. But if she said to Brett Kavanaugh, hey, before we get started, I got this disturbing letter. And I don't, before I go public with it, I just want to hear what you have to say.
So what's your side?
That's the way you do it.
Well,
because there's so much at stake.
And if I understood this yesterday, I was trying to follow it. But if I understood it yesterday, she couldn't come to Washington to be interviewed because of fear of flying. But in fact, she'd been flying off on vacation. And apparently the Democrats had hidden her in Delaware.
Yeah.
Right, and apparently she didn't know that the staff would have made the offer. We'll go to California. We will come to you. That's one of the few new things we learned yesterday.
But, Steve, we knew that. We knew because we read that Grassley offered to go anywhere she wanted.
Right, but she didn't know because she never heard from her attorney.
And so if the staff had shown up in California, it would have been an empty building.
Right, well, if you missed it yesterday, we're going to play a little bit of Brett Kavanaugh and then a little bit of Dr. Ford. Let's start with Brett Kavanaugh. Watch this.
This confirmation process has become a national disgrace. The Constitution gives the Senate an important role in the confirmation process, but you have replaced advice and consent with search and destroy. This has destroyed my family and my good name. This whole 2-week effort has been a calculated and orchestrated political hit, fueled with apparent pent-up anger about President Trump and the 2016 election, fear that has been unfairly stoked about my judicial record, revenge on behalf of the Clintons, and millions of dollars in money from outside left-wing opposition groups. This is a circus. The consequences will extend long past my nomination. I'm here today to tell the truth. I've never sexually assaulted anyone, not in high school, not in college, not ever. I have never done this to her or to anyone. That's not who I am. It is not who I was. I am innocent of this charge. I will not be intimidated. You may defeat me in the final vote, but you'll never get me to quit. Never.
Still painful.
I am here today not because I want to be. I am terrified. I don't have all the answers, and I don't remember as much as I would like to. But the details about that night that bring me here today are the ones I will never forget. They have been seared into my memory and have haunted me episodically as an adult.
Dr. Ford, with what degree of certainty do you believe Brett Kavanaugh assaulted you?
100%.
So, Newt, she believes that Dr. Kavanaugh assaulted her back in 1982. She was very heartfelt. Then you've got Judge Kavanaugh. Some people on the political rights left said he was unhinged in his opening statement and how he fought back. But at the same time, wasn't he fighting for his life?
He's fighting for more than that. He's fighting for the United States. If he can be destroyed with his record, with his family, with his coaching the girls, with his being a devout Catholic, if he can be destroyed by a 36-year-old, uncorroborated, now let's be clear, she may believe in her mind what she believes, and it may or may not be true. She's a psychologist. She ought to understand. People often believe things 36 years later that just aren't true. If this can be done to him, why would any conservative ever again allow themselves to be nominated? But why would you put your family through? You have no idea what the next allegation is. And you know that the left is building a machine, which they used on Bob Bork, which they used on Clarence Thomas, and failed, by the way. 11 Democrats voted for Clarence Thomas. 11 Democrats.
He still didn't get 60, though, right?
No, he didn't need to.
Right. So the word is that Joe Manchin is considering it, Donnelly's considering it, but Doug Jones of Alabama, who's going to be up for that election in a couple of years, he just basically said the people of Alabama, a bright red state, if he doesn't vote for this, which he says, I'm out. I'm not voting for him. So,
well, look, I think Jones is being honest. Jones is a left-wing Democrat who got elected with
that's not the way he portrays himself.
No, but, well...
He wanted to win.
He wanted to win. And that's the number one thing we're learning. If Senator Feinstein had done her job, this would never have gotten to be a crisis.
So I wanted to bring you to Lindsey Graham because he's someone who takes a lot of heat, so people call him a rhino because he wants to compromise on immigration, because he sides with John McCain on certain
South Carolina
things.
rhino.
Right, but keep in mind, too, sometimes he was with President Bush, and then he said, I like Donald Trump, and I'm going to be with him most of the time. And that ticked off everybody in the McCain-Bush group. Right. So here's Senator Graham making it clear, once again, he stands on his own.
This is the most unethical sham since I've been in politics. And if you really wanted to know the truth, you sure as hell wouldn't have done what you've done to this guy. I cannot imagine what you and your family have gone through. Boy, y'all want power. God, I hope you never get it. I hope the American people can see through this sham, that you knew about it and you held it. You had no intention of protecting Dr. Ford. None. She's as much of a victim as you are. God, I hate to say it because these have been my friends. But let me tell you, when it comes to this, you're looking for a fair process. You came to the wrong town at the wrong time, my friend. To my Republican colleagues, if you vote no, you're legitimizing the most despicable thing I have seen in my time in politics. You want this seat? I hope you never get it. I hope you're on the Supreme Court. That's exactly where you should be. And I hope that the American people will see through this charade. And I wish you well, and I intend to vote for you, and I hope everybody who's fair-minded will.
Mr. Speaker, being from South Carolina, there are a lot of people that were mad at him when he voted for Sotomayor and when he voted for Kagan. But yesterday, my folks that I was talking to, my family and friends, they were very proud of him for the way that he responded yesterday.
Look, I've known Lindsey since he first came into the House. This was his best moment. This was a moment comparable to Attorney Welch putting down McCarthy in the 1950s. I mean, this was an extraordinary moment, and he has defined for the American people what's at stake. You have a despicable, dishonest, deliberately destructive left-wing Democratic Party that will destroy anybody, lie about anybody, do whatever it takes. And Lindsey said the truth. It is that bad. It is that sick.
Right. Well, he had a message for the Republicans. What do you think?
I think he also has a message for any decent Democrat. Are there no why do we behave as though there are no decent Democrats? Is there not a single Democrat sickened by what their party's doing?
What's your prediction for Collins, Murkowski, and Flake?
I think all three in the end vote because they're going to vote yes because there's no proof. I mean, for fair people, there is no proof. None. You have a person who's sincere about a 36-year-old high school event for which she has zero proof. Doesn't know the house.
Not her
doesn't
friend?
know the date.
Her friend can't verify it?
Yeah.
Let's quick, 10 seconds. Sheldon Whitehouse says if he gets on the court, I'm going to look to impeach him.
Well, of course it is, because Sheldon is engaged now in destroying the country, if that's what it takes to make it a left-wing radical country.
All right, let's see what happens in the Judiciary Committee this morning. Newt,
Good to be with you.
Good to see you.